Hello, my amazing learners, and welcome back to the Wisdom English podcast. My name is Sarah. As an English learner, you sometimes experience a problem when you're reading something, or even when you're having a conversation with people. And even sometimes when you're listening to a podcast or other audio file. This problem is vocabulary, but there is a formula. This formula will help you to learn 10 English vocabulary words, and that's what I will teach you today. And make sure you stay with me until the very end, because I'll reveal the simple secret that makes this formula so effective. Okay, so here's the problem. The problem is you want to improve your English vocabulary, but it just seems too hard. Now let's look at this a little closer. So the first thing is, you memorize lots of words, but what happens is you can't remember or use them. Many of my students have told me that they memorize vocabulary words, but then when they get into conversations, they're not able to use them. Or, you start off strong, but what happens is you get tired and often give up completely. Now, to be honest with you, I also experienced the same thing when I was studying Spanish. I would study hundreds of vocabulary words, but then after 2 or 3 weeks, I would get tired and just stop. So again, you start off strong, but you get tired and often give up completely. This is the problem. Now, there is a solution. The solution is 3 words a day can lead to 10 words. Now, don't worry. I'm going to explain this very clearly, and it will really help you to learn 10 words. The first aspect of this solution, before I explain it in detail, is memorization and repetition. Memorization and repetition are so important because they create a set pattern that will help your brain. Now remember, your brain works in patterns. There are certain triggers that help your brain remember certain things. So, a set pattern will also help your brain when you are trying to remember or memorize English vocabulary words. And the next thing is to learn and use. Many times you will learn vocabulary words, but you're not able to use them. This solution, this formula I'm going to teach you, will help you do both. So again, this will help you use them in daily life. When you meet someone that is a native English speaker or even another English learner, you can use the words that you're learning. Alright, so let's look at the breakdown of this solution or this formula. Again, we're aiming for 10 words by learning 3 words each day. There are 5 parts to this formula. Select, memorize, visualize, apply, and review. The first section is select. So, you select the 3 words that you will use for that day. Now remember, in the beginning, I said this is a formula, and it's actually part of a 16-day cycle. The first part of the cycle is the select column. So on day 1, you will learn only 3 words, and each day after that, you're only learning 3 new words. Now, let me explain exactly how this selection happens. There are many different ways that you can select words. Let's say, for example, that you are watching something on TV. You can select words from TV shows or movies that you watch. You may have a favorite American television show that you watch, and you may hear a vocabulary word that you don't know. So you can choose it from the television show. Or you may even have a special book or magazine or newspaper that you enjoy reading. You can pick a vocabulary word from the books, magazines, or newspapers that you read. The other method you can use actually is something that you may already have inside your brain. You can look for or find synonyms for words you already know. For example, let's say you already know the word big. That's a word that you already know. But a synonym for the word big is enormous. So, you already know this word, but enormous is a synonym for that word. So these are 3 different ways you can actually select your vocabulary words. The next part of the breakdown is to memorize. You're going to memorize the definitions of the words from the previous day. So again, let's look at our 16-day cycle. We've moved to the second column, the memorize column. On day 1, you only selected 3 words. Now on day 2, you still need to select 3 new words, but now is when you're going to memorize the 3 words you looked up on the first day. It's very important you're memorizing on the second day. Let's go into more detail. So again, you're going to memorize the definitions of the words from the previous day. So, what's going to happen? The first thing is to read over the words and their meanings. You're going to think about them. For example, if you chose the word enormous, you're going to look over the word and its definition and realize, this means very big. The next thing you're going to do is make flashcards for each word. Remember, it's not going to take you a long time because it's only for 3 words. And then, what you're going to do is you're going to time yourself as you memorize each word. You want to get to the point where you can memorize and know 3 words in 30 seconds. This is your goal. Alright, so the next phase is to visualize. Now, for the visualizing step, you're going to select various images that go along with each of the vocabulary words. You're going to use them to memorize the words more deeply. So let's go back and look at the 16-day cycle again. Now we're on the next column, the visualize column. So again, on day 1, we selected 3 words. On day 2, we also selected 3 new words. And we also added the memorizing of the first 3 words. And we're also going to be visualizing on that day the first 3 words. Now, again, I'm going to explain it very clearly. So, what's going to happen is you first need to think about each word and see what picture pops into your head. This is important because everyone is different. If I say good food, the first thing that pops into my mind may be different from what pops into your mind. So it's important to see what pops into your mind. Now, the next thing you're going to do is you're going to get on your computer and you're going to go online and find an image that matches what you saw in your mind. Now, again, remember, it's only for 3 words, so it's not going to take you a long time. But go online and find an image that matches each word, so you're looking for 3 images. Now, after you find the images, what you're going to do is you're going to make another flashcard. But this time, instead of the word being on the top, the word will be on the bottom, and on top you will place the image. So again, you're going to finally make image flashcards and practice with them. Remember, these steps are so important because you need to practice and learn vocabulary in different ways, not just sitting and looking at a book and memorizing. Your brain needs to see things that are visual and connected to different situations in order for you to learn and use the vocabulary words. Alright, so the next step is to apply. Now that you know the meanings, you're going to use each of the vocabulary words in a sentence that you create. Okay, so again, let's look at the 16-day cycle. Now we're on the next column, the apply column. So again, day 1, we just selected 3 new words. Day 2, we selected 3 new words, and we also memorized and visualized the first 3 words. And now, as we move down to day number 3, we're still selecting 3 new words, we're memorizing what we selected the previous day, and we're visualizing. And now, we're applying the first 3 words. Now, this applying step I will explain in more detail. So again, now that you know the meanings, you're going to use each of the vocabulary words in a sentence that you create. So, here's what's going to happen. You're going to review the meaning, and this is the key right here. You're going to think about your life. This is key. Review the meaning and think about your life. So here we go. Let me show you an example so that you can understand exactly what this step means. Let's say, for example, I have my dictionary here, and the word I selected was enormous, which means very big. That's the definition I found in the dictionary. Now, what's going to happen is I'm going to look at the dictionary's sentence example. And let's say the dictionary says, "The building is enormous." That's the pattern that the dictionary uses. The building is enormous. Now, what I'm going to do is think about my own life, and I'm going to write my own sentence. So, your sentence, which is my sentence right now, is going to be about, maybe my school. So I can say, "My university is enormous." So what happened? I changed the subject of the sentence. Instead of the building, I put my university, but everything else is the same. This is what you're going to do for the apply step in this formula. Now, the last thing for the breakdown is the review step. The final step in the breakdown method is to review all of the previous steps and see which step you need to practice more. So remember, it's a 16-day cycle. Now, this 16-day cycle has many different columns, but on the 16th day, you're going to review all of the 42 words you learned on the previous 15 days. Now, don't worry, I'm going to explain exactly how to do this. So let's look at it in more detail. Once again, the final step is to review all of the previous steps and see which step you need to practice more. So let's jump in. The first thing you need to do is find a timer. And what you're going to do is you're going to set a 5-minute timer. This is very important. Only 5 minutes. Set a 5-minute timer for the review time. Remember, you've been practicing these words for 15 days, so you should be able to bring them to mind very quickly. So what you're going to do next is, remember there was a 15-day period for the review day. So during that period, we had different flashcards. We had the word flashcards that we made, and we also had the image flashcards that we made. So what's going to happen is, you need to review both of these within the 5-minute time period. Now, it seems like a short period of time to review 42 words. But remember, your brain is amazing. You've been using and reviewing these words for a 15-day period, so that means you actually will know more than you realize. What's going to happen is, during this 5-minute period, you need to go very quickly. And there may be some words that you get wrong. If there are words that you get wrong, that just means you need to review them again. So what's going to happen is, you're going to have a separate pile. This is the review again pile. So what you're going to do is, if you get any wrong, you're going to put them in the review again pile. And what's important is, what you're going to do is, when you start the next 16-day cycle, you're going to go over them every other day until you feel comfortable and you feel like you know them well. This is the review step. The final secret. Okay, great job. We have gone through the 5 steps of the formula. Select, memorize, visualize, apply, and review. This system is designed to help you not just see new words, but to truly learn them and make them a part of your active vocabulary. And now, for the secret I promised at the beginning, the single most important secret that makes this formula so effective is this. Learning a word is like making a new friend. Think about it. When you meet a new person, you don't just learn their name and then walk away. You learn more about them. You see what they look like. You learn about their personality by seeing them in different situations. You talk to them and use their name in conversation, and you see them again and again over time. Our formula does the exact same thing for vocabulary words. You select the word, you meet the friend, you memorize its meaning, you learn their name. You visualize it, you see what they look like. You apply it in your own sentences, you have a conversation with them, and you review it over time. You see them again and again. When you treat words like friends, they will stick with you for life. So, my challenge to you is this. For the next 16 days, I want you to try this formula. Start today. Select just 3 new English words. Tomorrow, select 3 more, and start memorizing and visualizing yesterday's words. Follow the process. You have the power to learn and use 0 new English vocabulary words. Please like, share, and subscribe to the Wisdom English podcast channel to watch our next videos.